The next two names for aircraft carriers have been picked, and they'll be the USS Slick Willie and the USS W. Alright, so they'll actually be the USS William J. Clinton and the USS George W. Bush, but those were the two least offensive nicknames that have been picked out by the internet so far. President Biden, in his final days in the Oval Office, announced on January 13th that the next two unnamed Gerald R. Ford-class carriers will be named after President Clinton and President George W. Bush. The Clinton is scheduled to start construction between 2028 and 2030, and the Bush doesn't yet have a timeline. With these names announced, every U.S. president between Herbert Hoover, who left office in 1933, and Barack Obama have a ship named after them. Except for Richard Nixon. And yes, this does mean that there will be two Bush carriers at the same time. There are no definitive rules for naming the ships, but usually carriers are named for U.S. presidents and other notable Americans, like the now under construction USS Doris Miller, which is named for Medal of Honor recipient and hero of Pearl Harbor Doris Miller, who was fucked over for decades because he was black and had the nerve to man a gun during the attack. The U.S. carrier fleet currently sits at 11, with 10 of them being Nimitz class and one being a Gerald R. Ford class, which is the latest and greatest of the CVNs. Believe it or not, people on the internet have some pretty strong opinions about these names. Many people have voiced their displeasure, calling Clinton a sexual predator and Bush a war criminal, and others have taken the opportunity to make jokes about it. We won't be making those jokes because we're mature and respectable people, and we won't be tolerating such tomfoolery in our comments either. For instructional purposes only, we're going to lay out a few of the jokes that we've seen around, but we urge you once again to keep them out of our comments to keep the internet a family-friendly place, just like Al Gore intended. Don't make any cigar jokes about the Clinton, and don't go the easy route and say, oh, it's going to be long, hard, and full of semen, which technically is correct, but we all know what you really mean. And while it may be tempting to say that the Bush will have a mission accomplished banner permanently affixed to the bridge, we urge you not to say that because it's not very nice and he tried his very best. We appreciate your cooperation in advance. Sail on over to taskandpurpose.com to read all about these two new ships and a lot more in the military community, and follow us right here for more news spoken directly to you so that you don't have to read.